Welcome to the Ozeki VoIP SDK tutorial part 1. We will see how to download and install the SDK, how to create a new Visual Studio project, and we will also start to write the source code. First of all, let's download the SDK's installer from the voipsipsdk.com website. We will find here the newest version of the SDK, and all we have to do is to left click on it. After that, we are going to be asked about our full name and about our email address, and we have to type in why do we need this software. If we answered all of these questions, we just have to click on the OK button. We will find ourselves on the download page, and as you can see, we need to click on the download link to start the downloading process. When the process finishes, we need to locate the installer called Ozeki VoIP SDK. Let's double click it to execute. We need to click on the Run button and the Next button. Make sure to remember this path, because we will need it very soon. The installation will take a few seconds, and when it's completed, we are ready to use the tools provided by the SDK. Let's create a Visual Studio project. We can do this in the File menu by selecting the New Project from the drop-down menu. We will need a Visual C# template called Windows Forms Application. I am also renaming my project to My First Softphone. If the project is created and we would like to use the tools provided by the SDK in the Solution Explorer, we need to right-click on the References folder and choose the Add Reference option. In the Reference Manager window, make sure we are looking for the SDK under the Browse tab and click the Browse button. In the SDK subdirectory of the Ozeki VoIP SIP SDK directory, locate and add the VoIP SDK DLL. Now close the Reference Manager and we will see a new VoIP SDK reference between our references. Since we would like to follow our events and we would like to follow our events results, I am increasing the form's size and I am adding a new list box to it. If you are doing this as well, we will add the event results as new items to it. I am also changing the name of this list box, for example LB log, and the LB is from the list box. We need to access to the source file, and if you can't see the correct tab for that, you can find it in the View menu. First of all, we will have to add some extra lines into the using section. If you want to use the tools Ozeki VoIP SIP SDK offers, we need to add these extra lines first. This will allow us to use the SDK elements as they were in the same namespace. Without these lines, we would have to use the namespace information as a label for all tools of the SDK. We have to define the main tools for our softphone. These are some essential objects for an audio call. First of all, we need a softphone object, and we want to use a phone line too. We would also like to check our phone line's states, so we add a phone line state object. And we will handle calls as objects, so we are creating the call object. To communicate, we will want to use microphone, and we also want to use a speaker. To handle voice messages, we need a media connector and a phone call audio sender and also a phone call audio receiver. We would also like to get notified when we have an incoming call, so we will use a Boolean variable for that called incoming call. We will initialize these objects and variables later in our tutorials. We will need to use a background thread to handle the graphical user interface, and this method wants an action as a parameter. It will invoke this action, and we will see how to use it in the next step. So in this next step, we will handle when an error occurs during a call. For now, we will only use the invoke GUI thread method with a lambda expression as a parameter. And this expression adds a string to a logger list box. We can copy this line without the message string because we will use it a lot in this tutorial. We are writing another method for handling or calls another event. Now we want to handle if the call's state changed. We will finish this method in the second tutorial. We are only logging the changes now into a logger list box. We are writing a new method called WireUpCallEvents. This will be a helper method for us, and the last two methods will be used when an event occurs during a call, so we are adding these to our call object's events with the help of our new helper method. We can copy this method and rename the copy to WireDownCallEvents. We will use this when we don't need the call's events anymore, so let's change the plus signs to minus as well. So we are about to initialize our Softphone. In this method we are defining the most of the previously declared objects, and we will also register our Softphone. We can create a Softphone through the Softphone factory, and we should give our local IP address and port range with the minimum and maximum ports and the listening port as a parameter. Let's add it to our logger list box. The incoming call event needs a new event handler, so we will need to write this method called Softphone incoming call later. We need to create a SIP account, and I am setting the registration to be required. The display name, username, register name and password to 1000 as a string, and we are setting the domain host and the domain port. If the registration is set to true, we can accept calls. We need to communicate with other networks too, so we are setting a network address translation method. With the SIP account and the network address translation method, we can create a phone line to a Softphone. This phone line's state can be changed, so we need a new event handler, and we need a new method called phone line information. Now we can register our Softphone through the phone line, and we can also say this line in the source code is the SIP registration period. It's also nice to have this block in a try block, so we can catch the exceptions as well, and we can add those to our logger list box. Let's swap to the design view and double click into the form. In this load method, we need to call the initialize Softphone method. We need to finish the Softphone incoming call method for the Softphone's incoming call event. In this tutorial, we are only logging if there was a call from the client. In the next tutorial, we will also see an example for this event. The last method that we are missing for now is the phone line information one. In this tutorial, we are only checking the phone line's state, and if the registration is ended with success, then we are logging that, and if the registration was unsuccessful, then we log that and we log the reason as well. If we are done with this, the only thing is left for now is to try out our new Softphone. If you created your SIP account with valid informations, your Softphone will register successfully, as you can see here. If you gave any incorrect information, you will find the registration failed line in the end of the logger list box. In the next tutorial, we will create a graphical user interface and we will also make some calls with our Softphone. Thank you for watching and feel free to contact us.